If I'm being honest, I think I just need to stop watching anime. I've watched now 3 episodes of this deer meme of a show, and truthfully, I don't think any anime will ever compare to this again. So why even bother watching other shows when this is all that's going to be on my mind? This is the ultimate brain rot because simultaneously as I'm thinking it's the dumbest thing I've ever witnessed, I also have to respect the fact that it's more than just a joke. Because when I initially read the premise for this show, I legitimately thought it was going to be a 4-minute runtime, like one of those short, like, if anyone's ever seen Inferno Cop, that's what I was expecting from this show, right? It was just going to be slapstick, a few minute jokes, and we'd move on with our day. And then when you learn that there's actually a source material for this show, and they're making full-ass runtime length episodes, you can sum down to this freaking episode as a Bully Maguire reference. They literally did the Spider-Man 3 meme dance, and it was glorious. 3 people arguing about who's the better deer. One of them is a legitimate deer. The other is either stoned out of her mind, or just was dropped on her head as a baby. And the other is a yandere sister who just wants to fit in for affection. And then there's, of course, the MC, who I think has been gaslighted to the point that she thinks it's her responsibility to take care of the deer. I mean this with every cell in my body. This is the best anime of this season, and probably the best anime of this year, and probably the best anime ever made. Like, this is the dumbest freaking thing I've ever witnessed. Why do any other anime even try? I have full live reactions over on Patreon. If you want to see my mind break in real time, it's going to be over there exclusively. So walking into this episode, I knew there was the Bully Maguire reference. That one did seep onto my timeline, which a lot of anime stuff doesn't these days. But honestly, that just made me happy. I'm not sure if I would have realized it was that without the internet, because even though I've seen Spider-Man 3 quite a few times, it's not something that is on my mind enough that it might have slipped my mind. But literally, if you do look at comparison, there's part of that dance that is literally mirroring Tobey Maguire when he's in his emo phase in Spider-Man 3. And it's just kind of funny because initially when she walks in, I'm thinking to myself, there's as much of a chance that this actually is Nokotan as it is just a random ass deer. And initially I'm like, no, it has to be a random ass deer. But then I start thinking, well, what if it actually, like, here's the thing. We're dealing with a girl who has some sort of magical antlers that come off, regrow. They do a lot of weird shit. Her turning into a normal deer, it could absolutely happen. And when they did the whole, like, Gundam reveal, like she was coming out of the suit, I was like, what in the... That was when I was like, okay, yeah, that's and then it went back to normal. I was like, okay, I just honestly wasn't sure what they're gonna do, but when she started really, like, exposing herself, I realized that, no, that was a random-ass deer. But it's kind of funny when you think of it, right? Because she gets super embarrassed when she realizes that she was just talking to a random deer. But at the end of the day, she thought she was talking to Nokotan to begin with, just in deer form. Like, was she hoping that she wouldn't remember in deer form? So at the end of the day, she's gonna expose herself regardless. It's just, I guess she felt like she didn't have to do all that because she never was in any, like, trapped form. I don't know, but it's like, you're gonna expose yourself regardless, and literally in the last episode, your entire private being was exposed to the general public. I don't think there's a lot less to expose if we're being 100%. But the fact that she had, like, an uninterrupted, like, 1.5-minute, 2-minute dance sequence, as this deer just stares into our soul, man. Like, the deer is simultaneously the worst animated and best animated thing I've seen this week. So sometimes when I'm just looking at this thing, I'm like, okay, that's actually a really good texture job. Like, that looks like a realistic deer. And then it'll just look so off-putting. And then it'll go into this, sometimes the deer has similar faces to that of her sister in her yandere psycho form. And then at other points, I felt like we're looking at the second coming of Jesus. I don't know what this show is doing. I feel like I'm getting indoctrinated into a cult. Like, I feel like I'm getting roped into Scientology or some other bullshit like it. Because why in the hell is this dumb freaking show hooking me in so much? But it's literally, it's modern Gintama. It's so freaking stupid, but it uses modern references in such a funny and creative way while simultaneously building stories and characters. And that's really the genius of something like a Gintama. Now, we haven't reached anything insanely well done characterization, but we actually are building the cast at a pretty steady pace. We currently now have 4 members in the squad. We, of course, have the initial 2. Sister properly joins now that she graduated middle school. Now she's joining up with this high school. And then we have this first year who's just an idiot. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. She's actually brain dead. She thought she was gonna die because she was hungry in front of the school, and then she ate some deer crackers and is like, you know what? The way of the deer is for me. Do I even have to explain how stupid she is? I honestly thought she was talking to our MC at first, but I thought she was talking about her delinquent past because, like, she's like, oh, I want to be just like you. I was like, okay, she's probably thinking, like, at face value, this is because I'm this nice, you know, I'm the class president, I do all this stuff, but really she's gonna want to be a delinquent or something. No, it's of course, it's the sister. It's kind of funny when you think of it, right? Because initially when the sister, like, did that dramatic cliffhanger, most of the anime fandom thought that, obviously, she was upset with our MC for getting too close to Deer God. Turns out, no, she was upset that Deer God was getting too close to her sister. Then in this episode, for me anyway, I'm like, oh, she actually does want to talk to her, but it's because of the delinquent past. Nope, it's simply because she wants to be Deer. Deer is life, Deer is me, Deer good. Like, that's basically the mantra at this point. And honestly, just the fact that they can have this, like, self-aware fourth wall breaking moment, like, I forget the exact term they use, but they tell us to tune back in for episode 10 because it's going to, there's going to be payoff for the whole rice joke. And I'm just like, this girl wants to be Deer, but then she wants to grow rice. Like, how does 2 and 2 fit together? Like, how does 2 plus 2 equal 5 here? But somehow apparently it does. The best part was definitely when she basically got gaslit to having to pet them. Because she's like, this is Deer Club. The whole point of Deer Club is to take care of Deer. If you don't take care of Deer, Deer gonna leave. And then you're gonna be on trial, and then everyone's gonna hate you. And I'm like, if Deer leaves, the headache goes away. If Deer leaves, we can just sit on the couch and get freaking manicures if we... Like, life would be peaceful, and now she has to pet all 3 of these dumbasses. Every time there's a show like this that has, like, kind of the straight edge, the character that's kind of like the one, you know, the only character that's taking something seriously, usually I don't side with them. Usually I'm like, oh, they're kind of the buzzkill. This is, I think, one of the only times that I've completely sided with the quote-unquote buzzkill because they're the only one making a goddamn lick of sense. And I feel so bad for her. Honestly, I feel like she's going to be the only character who will probably turn into Deer before the show's over, and she doesn't even want to. Honestly, the show's probably getting better, but my brain's getting more and more fried the more I watch, but I can't wait for episode 4. Let me know what you thought down below, and I don't even know. What did you think? Let me know. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course, ring that bell, and like I mentioned, we got those full live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. Alright, so today we got Waka, Merc, Sebastian Just, and we also have Fear Machine. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and y'all have a good one.